And I want to say thank you to our veterans, active duty military, and first responders for serving our great nation. You're listening to Highways and Byways. Hey, I'm Chris, and welcome to another edition of Highways and Byways. I went over to Rosebud on Wednesday, and I ate at the Highway 77 Cafe, ordered a shrimp basket and a Coke. Before heading back to Temple, I got some groceries at Brookshire's. While I was there, I saw some of the storm damage from Saturday. There was debris on the street near the Lutheran church. Some workers who had been clearing the debris were at the cafe. Her Dairy Queen had damage also on Saturday, and I saw on their Facebook page that they were closed. I guess that's why the cafe was so busy. Preservation Rosebud elected new officers on last Wednesday. They are Lee Hugator, President, Greg Wallace, Vice President, James Prothero, Secretary. He had been the president of the group. Alfred Martinez, Treasurer, Fran Hugator, Publicist, and Marla Wallace is the grant writer. And Caroline Akers-Wright and Tiffany Murray joined the board. I started following their Facebook page. There's going to be a car show Saturday, July 1st at the Highway 77 Cafe from 10 in the morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, right in the parking lot. There are awards for Best Late Model, Best Classic, Best Sleeper, Best Truck, Original and Oldest in Show, Most Original, Best Hot Rod, and Rusty but Trusty. It costs $2 to take part. I've been to the car show in Waco at the convention center a few times. The last time I went was in 2006. I got a calendar and autographs from the Texas bikini team. There's going to be a cookout tomorrow in Temple or Thursday in Temple at the Hilton Garden Inn parking lot to raise money for Alzheimer's research. You can get tacos for breakfast and then burgers for lunch or supper. It goes from sunup to sundown. I think you pay for the food with donations. By the way, my sister Pam works in home health. There's going to be the annual barbecue, picnic, and cook-off at Sacred Heart Catholic Church in Lot next weekend. The cook-off is Saturday, June 24th, starting at 5 in the evening. At the same time, there is a horseshoe tournament and a margarita contest at 7:30. The picnic will start at 11 in the morning on Sunday, June 25th, They cost $12 a plate. You can eat there or take it home with you. They'll be serving the food until it runs out. There's also an auction that starts at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I remember when I was in the 8th grade back in 1984 at Rosebud a lot. It rained one morning, and during one of my classes, someone said they heard a tornado had hit the Texaco in Rosebud and tore the roof off of it. That's of a 77. As I was going to my next class, another student asked the principal about a tornado hitting Rosebud, and he said it did. But I don't think it was a tornado, just high winds. They did have to tear down the Texaco and build a new one on the side. My mom went to work there at the new store after it opened in the fall of that year. I think she worked there for at least 2 years. I also remember when it flooded in Houston, where the Astros game in the Dome that night had to be postponed. It was on June 15th, 1976. It rained so much that day that the streets flooded. The Astros had a game that night in the Dome against the Pittsburgh Pirates. The players were able to get to the Dome, but the umpires couldn't get there, so the first ever rain-in happened. Both Astros and Pirates, players, coaches, stadium workers, and some of the fans who were able to get to the Dome were served a meal by some concession workers who worked at the Dome. I started going to see the Astros 2 years later. The flooding also had an effect on my family, too. My parents had just divorced, and my grandfather had just retired from Hughes Tool. He and my grandmother moved back to their house in Rosebud. We moved to their house in Jacinto City while my dad got an apartment close to where he worked near the Gulf Freeway. And his apartment, which was downstairs, flooded. So my mom let him stay with us until they moved him into another unit at the complex, where he stayed there until his lease there went out and he got a new place. There's a Bible verse to close things out. It's from Matthew chapter 7, from the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 38. It says, "Come with me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Be sure to check out my other podcast, Chris Carlisle Show. Until next time, this is Chris Carlisle saying, thank you and have a good week. Thanks for listening to Highways and Byways. Highways and Byways is a presentation of Chris Carlisle's podcast, and it's produced, hosted, and written by Chris Carlisle. Thank you and have a good time.